She's lying next to the vacuum cleaner. Some blood's coming out of her nose and her mouth.
It was an unprecedented wave of terror that struck in and around our nation's capital.
You had 9/11. This is 1 year later.
Over 23 days, 10 people are targeted for death.
There was always just a single shot.
Montgomery County.
Someone's been shot down on our back lot. He's bleeding real bad.
The victims are diverse.
Women, men, young, old, black, white.
The motive is unknown.
We're not sure if we had a terrorist operation.
The panic is escalating.
They were striking at the heart of the suburbs.
The guy's dead, and there's a white van just went by.
Tomorrow I'm going to my 4th funeral in 4 days.
People were dying.
They were dying right in front of us.
We can't be everywhere all the time.
This, without a doubt, was the most intense 3 weeks of my career.
It was one of the biggest manhunts in American history. The hunt for the DC snipers. Next. It's known as the Beltway, the growing metropolis that surrounds our nation's capital. Encompassing portions of Maryland and Virginia, the Beltway is a sprawl of medium and small-sized towns, the kind of places where indiscriminate violence is rare. For area residents, October 2nd, 2002 began quietly enough. Nationally, the big news was a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico.
Category 4 hurricane.
And the buildup to the invasion of Iraq.
Because we know the awful nature of war.
But a very different war was about to erupt.
I got a call from my deputy, Lieutenant Phil Rohn.
A 55-year-old man was killed outside the store.
We had a gentleman who was shot in the parking lot at the Shoppers Food warehouse.
I asked him what kind was it? Did we have a smoke or did we have an argument between two people?
Did we have an answer to it right away?
Barney Forsyth was the head of major crimes for Montgomery County.
7825, code 6.
He said, no, not really. We had a loud bang.
It was directly across the street from a police station. In fact, the first police officers to arrive on the scene were those that heard the shot inside the police station and walked across the street.
The victim is a 55-year-old government analyst named James D. Martin. Police have almost nothing to go on.
Security cameras are starting to become more popular. We're, of course, hoping, that, it was going to tell us something. Unfortunately, after we reviewed it, the only thing we saw was the poor man basically getting shot, crumpling to the ground.
We talked about the unusual nature of that particular murder.
The thing that bothered us was that there was no obvious reason for the shooting.
In Montgomery County, somebody being killed with a rifle is something very unusual.
A single shot crashed through a craft store window. No one was hit.
Oddly, less than an hour earlier, there had been a random shot fired just a few miles away. There were no injuries and no clues.
We weren't really sure what we had at that point.
Tonight, the mystery remains.
That evening, the two shootings were still just a local story. The next morning, everything changed.
Montgomery County.
Yes, ma'am, I need police and ambulance.
Okay, what's the problem?
Somebody's been shot down on our back lot. Yeah, he's down on the ground. He's bleeding real bad.
We had a call for a subject who had been out mowing a lawn.
The victim is 39-year-old Sonny Buchanan, a landscaper.
Immediately, we were pretty sure it was going to be related to the previous evening's shooting.
The two crime scenes are just over 4 miles apart.
We're reasonably sure that they were parked within several hundred yards of this location. They managed to sight the victim and take the shot.
30 minutes later, the carnage continues.
What happened here at the gas station?
I had to fill the car up with gas. There was a gentleman filling his car. It was a taxi. And he looked at me and I looked at him. And then I looked down for a split second just to pick up my credit card. And then I heard a very loud bang.
The shot came from up here.
And then I looked up and the taxi driver was walking towards my car. He said to me, call an ambulance, and he collapsed. He saw a lot of blood.
The taxi driver is 54-year-old Prem Kumar Walakar. The witness is Caroline Namro, an emergency room doctor.
I realized that he was having something called agonal breathing, which is the last breath.
When police arrive, Dr. Namro is performing CPR on a dead man.
Started to feel a little worried when I saw everybody with a bulletproof vest on and I didn't have one.
We all thought that there was a possibility that we could be targeted at that point.
I remember Chief Moose specifically told me to get my vest on.
Let me now introduce our Chief of Police, Charles Moose. Charles. Thank you, sir. We are doing everything in our power to control our emotions as we deal with this situation. The challenge is to be factual, to be accurate, to not get tunnel vision, to not go off on a tangent, not put misinformation out there.
Montgomery County Police Chief Charles Moose becomes the public face of the investigation. But behind the scenes, Captain Barney Forsyth takes the lead.
He was the right guy in the right place at the right time.
As we were down here, there was also a call coming out, a person possibly committing suicide about a mile north of here.
But this is no suicide. It's murder, and it's less than 2 miles away. Dead at the scene is a 34-year-old babysitter and housekeeper, Sarah Ramos. Passers-by thought she had shot herself.
34-year-old Sarah Ramos was sitting on a bench at a shopping center reading.
It's another busy location, another perplexing crime scene. 3 fatal shootings in less than an hour in a 4-mile radius.
We sensed they were related, but knowing and proving that they're related are certainly 2 different things.
The rear of this parking lot provides a very good area. Take a shot, one loud shot, one fatal shot, and then move away without causing a great deal of distraction.
A witness reports seeing a white box truck fleeing the scene. It's the first material clue for investigators.
The investigation really took on speed right here.
An hour and 20 minutes later, 5.5 miles away, Lori Ann Lewis Rivera has stopped at a self-service gas station vacuum stand to clean out her minivan.
Everyday people doing everyday things usually are not the victims.
Rivera, mother of a young daughter, is just 25 years old.
Just the enormity of this huge sense of waste. This child lost her mother.
Another murder. Again, a single shot. 2 people in a box-type truck with a damaged tailgate.
So far, they haven't found anybody, and that's the situation as we know it right now out here.
It's quiet for the next 12 hours. Then, just a few blocks from the Montgomery County line, one more shot shatters the night. 72-year-old Pascal Charlotte, a retired carpenter, dies at the scene.
Montgomery County, we average about 20 homicides a year, and we've had 5 of them in the space of a 16-hour period.
If you look at the victims in the first day, they were from all different aspects: male, female, Indian, white, Hispanic, black. So basically that's telling me they're looking at random targets. They're not predetermined targets.
This is Americana, right? Do they hate suburban America? We couldn't figure out why they were doing it. But they were striking kind of at the heart of the suburbs.
You had 9/11. This is 1 year later. At first, we're not sure if we had a terrorist operation.
There was no sense at all who was behind this, who the next victim might be, and when it would stop, if it would stop.
We didn't know what the next 16 hours was going to bring.
The snipers began leaving notes.
It was sort of like getting punched in the face.
An entire community in suburban Maryland is living in fear.
As police spread out, and a
massive manhunt is underway.
We're all going through the...
In a single day, the DC sniper murder spree became the top story across the nation.
Police could not provide...
I don't know what the thought process is, what the plan is, but yes, people need to continue with life.
It was really terrifying to be in an area where there's a crazy person with a gun.
Suburban Maryland is living in fear.
Fear was just, I mean, not perception of fear. This is reality fear.
A massive manhunt is underway with still no clues as to who killed 5 people.
The reality was they were mobile, they were willing to go anywhere at any time.
But who were they? After 6 murders in 27 hours, police had just one common thread.
It was a single shot, and it was a very loud single shot.
Victim number 7, a 43-year-old mother of 2, is shot outside a second Michael's craft store, more than 50 miles south of where the previous attacks were clustered.
Police say that the bullet passed through her body.
She is the first victim to survive.
Is there any connection between the shooting that occurred in Virginia and the ones that have occurred here in Montgomery County?
At this point, the fragments from the shooting are in the lab, and the comparison test is being conducted right now.
By the second day, we had a good idea of the type of caliber, and we were also able to tell that all the shots were fired from the same weapon.
Maryland investigators narrowing their search to these weapons by starting with the killer's bullets.
So right away, just about within 24 hours, we knew we were dealing with an assault rifle.
If you've seen anybody who may have weapons similar to this, call Chief Boots and his department on the hotline.
We had to look at the elevation of how the round hit the body, and we noticed that we did not have a high entry elevation, meaning being shot from a high angle, which led us to believe they could be shooting from a bench location, or we even thought early they could be shooting from a platform, maybe like a van or a truck.
The ballistics reports provoked a chilling conclusion for investigators. They weren't dealing with just any killer. This was the work of a highly motivated sniper.
I'm a trained sniper myself. I went through sniper school. Each one of these individuals was shot with one rifle round, which scared me.
The oh shit moment is when you realize that this is not an ordinary investigation. We knew that we had a public safety crisis.
The sniper realization fueled even greater urgency. The witness report of a white van or truck fleeing one of the early murder scenes began to drive the investigation.
We do have new information now on the box truck. It does have lettering. Police say 2 lines of block lettering on the side and on the back.
The media was basically all over this story.
They say the vehicle has 6 wheels, 4 wheels in the rear.
They may have spotted 2 people in a box-type truck with a damaged tailgate.
And they started putting out white box trucks, so white box truck, white box truck.
The witness talked about 2 people in it.
And groupthink took over.
Graphics will be available. We think it will help people prompt their memories.
White vans were everywhere.
Then a white van similar to the other white van.
And then all of a sudden there were millions of white vans, and everybody would say, "Did you see? I saw a white van."
Police say they're still looking for a white box truck.
It got a life of its own that it shouldn't have gotten.
2 men inside.
Unfortunately, it was the only game in town at that point.
Lost in the hysteria of the white box truck lead was an alert put out by DC police after the last shooting of the previous day, October 3rd.
The homicide detectives investigating the shooting on Georgia Avenue, just inside the DC line, had a description of a Chevy Caprice leaving the scene. It was not a big story. It was kind of buried in the news coverage.
The white truck theory simply dominated the discussion,
Ex-military wannabe.
along with media experts who came forward with profiles of the sniper.
This has all the markings of an all-American crime spree.
This is somebody who actually is trying to taunt the nation.
The message is getting out there that no one is safe.
But everyone thought it was white guys. White guys would be involved, just because that seemed to be the predominant serial killer motif.
You know what? You want a profile? Here's a guy who's going to turn out, I believe, to be a white, middle-aged male.
I'd be looking for an individual who has a high degree of anxiety at work.
It was very bad for the witness pollution.
There's a typology of mass murder called the pseudo-commando.
We're still waiting on the psychological profile piece from the FBI. We don't expect it will be exact, that it will cause us to have tunnel vision.
Stand still, please! Still, please!
To calm the public, satisfy the media, and keep the facts straight, Chief Moose, backed by members of the Sniper Task Force, holds daily press conferences, one a day, every day.
I have to take some questions.
Early on, we determined that the snipers were listening to things that we were saying. Several of us feared they were actually in the background watching these press conferences.
The question about the schools and their status tomorrow, school is going to open. That decision clearly has been made.
There is no reason to believe that the shooter is targeting school children.
The public had been afraid that their kids weren't safe, so we said, okay, we'll send police. Every school in Montgomery County had an officer at it.
A 13-year-old boy, shot and wounded as he arrives at his suburban Maryland school.
The 8th victim is a student at Benjamin Tasker Middle School. He's critically wounded, but survives.
Right over there, right over my right shoulder, is where the boy was shot.
The idea that a shooter would target an innocent child on his way to school was alarming in a way that the previous shootings hadn't been.
What they're now saying is that there is a connection between the shooting here and the other ones that have
really caused quite the jitters throughout the Washington area.
The school shooting occurs 70-odd miles from the previous shooting in Fredericksburg, Virginia. The sniper zone seems to be growing. Once again, witnesses report seeing a white van leaving the scene. It was a consistent detail that would nearly untrack the entire investigation.
I think they were looking for, a white man in a box truck. I don't think anyone was sort of expecting that, they were blacks, I think.
Well, if you were two black guys in, kind of a beat-up car doing this, no one would ever notice you.
Only much later would anyone realize that the witnesses and the media experts were wrong on both of the crucial points. There was no box truck, and the snipers were not white. Six dead, 2 wounded, millions terrorized. Almost a week has passed since the DC snipers first struck, and now the school attack has elevated the stakes dramatically.
Everybody working this detail knew someone who was in the schools, whether it was neighbors, whether it was relatives, whether it was their own children, and it was kind of like, where are we safe?
Even though witnesses had reported seeing a white van at the school, authorities quickly determined that the shot actually came from the adjacent woods. Police find 2 pieces of evidence: a single spent shell casing and a disturbing communique.
Our people recovered a tarot card. It was the death card.
Michael Bouchard believes the tarot card confirmed that the snipers had listened to the previous press conference.
One of my words was, I don't know why on God's earth somebody would do something like this. And sure enough, it said, Mr. Police, call me God, do not release to the press. Do not release to the press.
Word of the tarot card was closely guarded by the Sniper Task Force, but not closely enough. It leaks on October 9th.
When the news media got a hold of the tarot card and the information on it, law enforcement was extremely upset.
You really want to get that piece of information and put it out while we're still doing this investigation.
There was some discussion amongst all of us in the newsroom. Do we report this or not?
I don't think there's anybody that hasn't experienced the hindrance of leaks in the past. We have not been thrown off track.
They claim they shot other people because we didn't do what they asked us to do.
Dean Myers shot at this Manassas, Virginia gas station.
Dean Harold Myers, a civil engineer, is the 9th victim. Shot in the chest and killed while pumping gas near Manassas, Virginia. He was 53 years old. In a parking lot across from the crime scene, a police officer interviews potential witnesses. One of them is a man driving the same 12-year-old Chevy Caprice that had been spotted near the 6th murder scene. When police wave him on, they have no idea they've just interviewed the sniper mastermind.
105 North Avenue.
John Allen Muhammad and Lee Boyd Malvo were an unlikely pair, joined by unlikely circumstances. Muhammad, age 41, was definitely the alpha. His devoted follower and more than willing accomplice, Malvo, was just 17.
One of the things that struck me was his devotion and commitment to John Allen Muhammad, who he referred to as Dad.
Muhammad, a father of 3, was an ex-Army engineer who received the normal training in marksmanship. He saw action in the First Gulf War, but returned home a changed man.
Desert Storm, the first Iraq War, flipped a switch in John Muhammad. To this day, his ex-wife isn't sure what happened.
It was like his spirit had been broken. He looked like just a broken man.
That's the man who befriended Lee Malvo in 2000. Muhammad met the teen while on a trip to Antigua, where Malvo's mother had all but abandoned him. Muhammad eventually brought Malvo to Tacoma, Washington as his informally adopted son.
His true personality, I think, was a soft, warm, loving child. It is very, very important that one recognize that Lee did not attach to a killer. He actually attached to a loving and caring father.
At the time, Muhammad was in a bitter and complicated custody battle for his own biological children, whom he had stolen away from his estranged wife. When a Tacoma court gave her full and permanent custody, Muhammad vowed revenge.
The children were given to his wife, and he would no longer have any connection with his children. And he was outraged.
He said, and if you will not raise my children on your own, you have become my enemy, and as my enemy, I will kill you.
Did you believe him?
Totally.
The outrage became anger and hatred, fueling an inner war against a racist society, which Muhammad, in turn, fed to young Lee Malvo.
He was being conditioned to be a soldier. We're talking about a child soldier. He was actually having Lee go to sleep with taped extracts from The Art of War, from books talking about war and revolution, etc. And that was how he started the whole brainwashing process.
The pair's murderous journey actually started in Tacoma, nearly 3,000 miles from D.C. At Muhammad's direction, Malvo shot and killed the niece of a woman who had testified against Muhammad at the custody hearing.
Lee was trained not to feel. Whenever he would feel and Muhammad saw that there was a flinch of feelings, he would tell him to slap his chest and say, "Heart, be still." Heart, be still. After a while, he didn't have to tell him, "Heart, be still," because he had, if I could use the word, monsterized it.
no one ever linked Muhammad and Malvo to the girl's murder. Now, 8 months later, they're driving around the nation's capital in an old Chevy Caprice, shooting innocent citizens, while everyone is looking for a white man in a white truck.
Law enforcement knew that the shooters had a distinct advantage. I think to them it was quite frustrating. They all knew more people were going to die.
We've just received word of another shooting.
You know you just have to keep plowing through.
In the parking lot.
You just cannot throw your hands up and walk away and say, well, this is too hard.
We knew that as fast as they were shooting people, there would probably be another one before we caught them.
As the DC sniper death toll mounted, the public fear grew accordingly. The attacks had completely altered everyone's daily routine.
Millions of vehicles on these roads every day. Look at this great video there. Look at this. Look at that white van with a ladder on top.
Certainly the public was on edge. Parking your car and running into the grocery store, ducking down next to your car while you're putting gas in.
I'm not exaggerating. People were zigzagging through parking lots.
Who would have ever thought you would do that? Walking in a zigzag pattern when you're going to fill up your tank?
We didn't go to parks. We didn't let the kids play outside the front of the house.
You have an area around here where several million people is basically held hostage by who knows what.
From this point forward, we sit and we wait.
Meanwhile, the media continues to speculate about the snipers. And the snipers apparently continue to monitor the press conferences and the media.
It just got more huge, more huge, more huge. It was just monstrous.
I was being interviewed, and the newscaster asked, a lot of the information is that this person is a trained military sniper. Basically what I said is, it doesn't take a specialized expert to fire these shots. The next victim was shot in the head.
Officials here confirming that a man was shot at an Exxon station along Route 1 here in Spotsylvania. He died shortly after that.
Kenneth Bridges, a prominent social activist and businessman from Philadelphia, is the 10th victim, the 8th to die. He was shot while pumping gas.
A lot of these shootings, especially the ones in Virginia, would occur right off the interstate. So one of the ideas that we had was that if we get a shooting, we're going to get on the interstate and do roadblocks. Just stop everybody as they come through. It was a pretty drastic action. I guess a little bit like looking for a needle in a haystack, but we needed to pull out all the stops.
Among those stopped at one of the roadblocks, a dark blue Chevy Caprice carrying none other than John Muhammad and Lee Boyd Malvo. Once more, the sniper car is given a pass.
Their vehicle, which was queried several times by law enforcement over several days in several states, was legally registered. There was no warrants out for these individuals at that point in time.
I don't know how anyone could have stopped that vehicle and known that it was the sniper's vehicle.
Much later, when the authorities finally get a look at the Chevy Caprice, they are stunned by what they find. The vehicle had been utilized in most of the shootings. Outside, it looks perfectly ordinary. Inside, it's anything but.
The seat back would lift up, and that's where the gun was stored.
It was a customized killing machine.
And by lifting up the back seat, the shooter could crawl into the trunk.
Darker than normal tinting on the back windows.
They had cut an opening in the trunk above the license plate.
This is the view when they pulled the trigger.
They could stick the barrel out of the back of the trunk, fire a shot, nobody would see where the shot came from.
At about 9:15 this evening, a female was shot in the upper body in the parking garage of the Home Depot at Seven Corners. She was pronounced dead on the scene.
The victim is 47-year-old Linda Franklin, shot while she and her husband loaded packages into their car. Franklin is an FBI analyst. It's the first shooting in Fairfax County, Virginia, and takes place 50 miles from the previous shooting in Spotsylvania County. A witness claims to have seen the shooter flee the scene in a white van.
It's been determined through further investigation that the information is not credible.
But the damage is done. The sniper hotline, already inundated, is again flooded with sightings of white vans.
I believe we got over 115,000 tips. 16,000 of those were viable leads that needed to be followed up on.
Almost lost among all the phone calls are several from the snipers to the police.
Don't say anything, just listen.
They were calling the task force. They were calling Rockville City Police. And they also called Montgomery County Police.
In one, the caller says, "We've called 3 times trying to set up negotiations. We've gotten no response. People have died. The lady didn't have to die."
I think they wanted to get a message across to us.
The 12th victim and third to survive is a 37-year-old musician from Florida. He is shot outside a steakhouse in Ashland, Virginia. Once again, a white van is seen leaving the area.
They used that to their advantage. They were looking to find a white box truck style vehicle in close proximity to their shootings because that would add to their anonymity.
The snipers later confirmed that rather than flee, they often stayed at the crime scenes.
They were very deliberate about that. They were going up, talking to law enforcement officials, taunting them in the sense that, well, here I am, and I'm the guy you're looking for.
Behind the steakhouse in the woods, police find a spent .223 shell and another note from the snipers. A 4-page handwritten ransom letter. In the letter, the snipers wrote, "If stopping the killing is more important than catching us, then you will accept our demand. You will place $10 million in a bank account."
I never thought money was the motive. I think that was just their arrogance to see how far they could push the government and see what they can get us to do.
But there is a chilling postscript on the note that gets everyone's attention.
Imagine being in a position where you're responsible for the safety of your community. And then somebody says, your children aren't safe, and they've already got proof that that's true because they've shot one.
There's no playbook, there's no parenting guide to tell your kids everything's going to be okay.
As the sniper crisis enters its 3rd week, nerves in the D.C. area are frayed. Frustrations mount for police and the media.
Can a lack of information, public information, possibly imperil the public?
Sir, I appreciate the question, but I am personally insulted if you would think that I would withhold something from you or anybody else that will keep you safe.
After a 3-day lull, the snipers strike again. Conrad C.J. Johnson, a 35-year-old Montgomery County bus driver, is shot at his first stop. Johnson is the 13th victim in 3 weeks, the 10th to die.
Mr. Johnson had pulled up to this location right directly across from us, at which point he was shot and killed almost instantly. It was a single shot. We know that the shot came back from the wood line, no more than 30 to 50 yards away.
As you can see, the forwardmost bus up there is the one where the shooting...
Johnson's death brings the entire case home to Montgomery County.
I can remember just thinking, they're back.
Police find another note in the woods.
We knew that if we could engage them, we'd be that much closer to them, either screwing up or making another mistake that would help us catch them. They did exactly what we asked them to do. They started writing us letters. They started calling.
One of the phone calls basically told us we needed to look at a robbery that had occurred in Montgomery, Alabama.
The call, it later turned out, was from Lee Boyd Malvo. Was he just bragging or hoping to get caught? No one knows, but it was a critical break.
He didn't identify himself as the sniper. He says, you just got to look at that.
I called Montgomery, Alabama. I said, did you have a shooting at a liquor store? And they said, yeah, one individual was killed, one was seriously wounded.
The only evidence is a set of fingerprints.
They ran it against the national database, including immigration records, and found Malvo's print.
Then around the same time, we got a phone call from a gentleman who lived out in Washington who said, we need to take a look at these two guys, and he named the two guys,
Muhammad and Malvo.
And he said, the kid's nickname out here is
Sniper.
And all of a sudden, it all started falling into place.
The tipster says the two practiced shooting at a tree stump in his backyard. ATF and FBI immediately send field agents to retrieve the stump.
We asked our people to do it low-key, keep it very quiet, don't tell anybody. About an hour later, someone came into Chief Moose's office and said, take a look on TV.
Agents from the FBI and ATF have just finished up their search.
The helicopters and the news media were out there watching our people in this backyard in Tacoma, Washington.
A federal arrest warrant has been issued for John Allen Muhammad, also known as John Allen Williams.
The end came around 1 a.m. at a rest stop outside Frederick, Maryland, about 50 miles northwest of Washington. A sharp-eyed motorist who'd heard the police lookout just over an hour earlier spotted the blue 1990 Chevrolet Caprice with two men sleeping inside.
And it was a 6-person assault element. We had 3 on the driver's side, 3 on the passenger side. They assaulted, boom, and pulled both individuals out, John Muhammad and Lee Boyd Malvo, in less than 3 seconds. I looked down and I saw Lee Boyd Malvo, and you could see the sweat coming down his face. And this is a cold October night, and you could see he was just scared. And then John Muhammad was on the other side, and he was more defiant.
Police lined up in a cold rain to say that after 3 weeks, they believe they caught the snipers and found the gun.
Sir, we feel very positive about being here. We have the weapon. It is off the street.
Apprehended 41-year-old John Allen Muhammad, a Gulf War Army veteran, and 17-year-old John Lee Malvo.
Muhammad's ex-wife, Mildred, who had moved to the D.C. area almost 2 years earlier, was stunned when she saw his face on television.
I walked over to the screen and put my hand on it and said, what happened to you?
A motorist hauled state police. The
2 individuals were taken into custody.
We can only hope this is the end of it, and we don't know that yet.
Local, state, and federal prosecutors are meeting to discuss charges and settle jurisdictional issues.
For the residents of Washington, D.C. and the Beltway, 3 weeks of living on edge in constant fear is over.
Everyone was so glad it was over, and this mayhem had stopped. But there was also a lot of confusion about who these two guys were. You know, they weren't what people were expecting.
Because y'all thought I was finished.
The confusion is compounded by disbelief as other disturbing revelations emerge about John Muhammad and Lee Malvo. The two snipers are eventually connected to dozens of shootings and robberies in at least 5 different states.
They killed people in Washington, worked their way, I think, through Texas, down into Louisiana and Alabama. I think they were in Georgia. So it's not just the homicides here.
John Muhammad is clearly the mastermind, but people are stunned to find out his accomplice, Lee Boyd Malvo, is just a 17-year-old boy.
It was a huge sense of horror that such a young person could have been involved in such horrendous crimes. That was very shocking.
I guess shake your head a little bit and you think, what could bring a young person to do something like this?
It's complex for Malvo. He was a teen when he met Muhammad, and he was in dire straits. He was suicidal. He was very unhappy with his family situation. He did not have a father figure in his life and was desperately seeking one. Muhammad filled all of those needs for Malvo.
Lee was told that the shootings were designed to create a society of 70 boys and 70 girls that Mr. Muhammad was going to be lord over, and Lee would be one of his soldiers. And he really believed that.
He was so enamored of John Allen Muhammad that he would have done anything. And what Muhammad was asking him to do was kill over and over and over again.
Lee Boyd Malvo?
Yes, sir. 2 years after the shooting, Lee Boyd Malvo was convicted on 2 counts of capital murder. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. 3 years later, he wrote from his cell, "I'm still grappling with shame, guilt, remorse, and my own healing, if that will ever be possible." As for John Allen Muhammad, he too was convicted of capital murder. The sentence, death by lethal injection. His own motive for the killing spree remains a mystery.
All we know about Muhammad's approach to these shootings is largely what other people have theorized, because Muhammad never really explained why it happened. There are theories that he was randomly shooting people in that area so that perhaps he could kill his ex-wife and then swoop in as the grieving ex-husband and take the children away and disappear.
If he wanted to kill her, he could kill her randomly. I don't think that had anything to do with it.
I was fearful for my life, but I never ever thought that he would go to this length. Never, ever. It still boggles my mind.
And yet it made some sense to you.
Because we were watching a movie. I don't remember the name of it, but he said I could take a small city, terrorize it. They would think it would be a group of people and it would only be me.
At 9:06 p.m. on November 10, 2009, John Allen Muhammad was executed. His final meal included chicken with red sauce and strawberry cake.
Mr. Muhammad was asked if he wished to make a last statement. He did not acknowledge this or make any statement whatsoever. He seemed very unemotional.
Hello, everyone. I'm still on death row fighting.
Prior to his execution, however, Muhammad did speak. This short video was made after his conviction and aired on CNN in 2007. It included what seemed to be an oddly upbeat farewell.
Thank you for your patient kindness and your sacrifice that you all always made. Peace. And may God be with you all. Thank you.
We will never forget. We'll never know their pain. And we only wish we could have stopped this to reduce the number of victims.